Welcome to the second video installment of the Drive Electric Tennessee Local Government Action Playbook. Today, we'll be discussing the development of a fleet electrification plan, which can be an important first step towards meeting your city or county's electrification goals. An electrification plan provides an overall framework and roadmap for community-wide transportation electrification. The plan can approach transportation electrification from a variety of angles and will serve to guide actions moving forward. In this chapter, we will first discuss the development of a fleet electrification plan for the municipal fleet, including fleet light, medium, and heavy-duty vehicles. The next section of this chapter will touch on the development of an electrification plan for public transportation vehicles, such as transit buses, school buses, airport shuttles, and more. The first step to developing an effective fleet electrification plan is goal setting. It is important to make sure key stakeholders in city and county government are included in this process, since there are several aspects to developing and implementing a plan that involves many different departments. Working with these key representatives, articulate specifically how to accomplish a transition to electric vehicles and any related goals that should be established. This includes listing any metrics of success, such as economic, environmental, public health, climate change, and/or public relations. Also, consider any policies that would be worth pursuing that could help to further support and solidify your plan. Examples include Nashville's Green Fleet mandate to fully electrify the municipal fleet by 2050, and the Electric First policies implemented by Charlotte, North Carolina, and Boulder, Colorado. The next step before deployment is further evaluation of right sizing, right typing before purchasing any additional vehicles. Determine if that additional vehicle is necessary, or if needs can be met via carpooling and car sharing. Also, consider if a smaller vehicle can meet the fleet needs instead of a larger vehicle, such as an SUV. Some cities and counties have to take into consideration their replacement fleet plan and should set criteria for removing surplus vehicles. Therefore, some procurement policies may need to be adjusted to accomplish transportation electrification goals. For example, the City of Nashville's replacement plan requires replacement generally after 8 years or 100,000 miles. But EVs typically have a longer lifespan than a conventional combustion-powered vehicle. As such, the city is evaluating whether or not to adjust this replacement plan requirement for new electric vehicles. Another city design requirement to consider is related to EV infrastructure. Requiring city facilities to provide EV chargers, or at a minimum, requiring facilities to upgrade their electrical infrastructure to be EV ready, saves funding in the long run and can support an EV rollout. For example, Metro Nashville's design standards require that all new and renovated facilities be EV ready or have a dual port station installed. Further, it is important to calculate the total cost to own and maintain the EV and consider allowance for leasing or leasing to own. Most cities purchase vehicles, but long-term leases can also be an option and can allow the municipality the ability to benefit from federal tax credits. Another option to consider is on-demand leasing or working with vendors to provide vehicles for short periods of time. An example of this is offered by Enterprise, where the employee schedules the vehicle for the duration of time needed. The next step is conducting an operational analysis. First, understand the current fleet vehicle's duty cycles. Examine the entire fleet, as fleet data should be sorted by light-duty sedans that are scheduled for replacement over the next 24 months. Other factors that may be helpful when trying to identify maximum economic benefits are to identify all sedans over 6 years old and to sort by highest annual fuel and maintenance costs, as well as where the vehicles sit in the replacement queue. Some cities are using or are considering the use of telematics on the existing vehicles fleet to gather daily odometer or daily hour meter readings in order to understand dwell time and dwell locations, including overnight parking locations, which can inform strategic locations for EV charging. Research EV models that can fit the needs identified by your operational analysis. For example, your IT department may need trucks to move equipment around, but the codes department may be fine with all sedans. Note that new EV models are continually being released to market, so stay tuned to the evolving EV landscape. The U.S. Department of Energy's Alternative Fuel and Advanced Vehicle Search can help you identify models that are commercially available at any given time. The next consideration in transitioning the fleet to electric is to evaluate the feasibility and cost of needed charging infrastructure. One early question is, do you want to install the infrastructure yourself or pay a third party to handle charging as a service? If you are going to install the infrastructure, do you want non-networked or networked devices? The benefits of non-networked stations include lower equipment cost and lack of need for Wi-Fi connection. The disadvantages of non-networked stations are an inability to collect utilization data and an inability to conduct payment management. Additionally, you will want to decide whether you want your charging stations to be capable of utilizing the Open Charge Point protocol in order to be able to communicate with various charging network backends. Closed network stations restrict the hardware from accessing multiple networks. Ensuring interoperability is key for planning cross-departmentally. Once infrastructure considerations have been identified, it is important to identify the total cost of ownership. This can be achieved by researching procurement and operating costs and then identifying incentives that can lower those costs. Understand that the lifespan of EVs compared to combustion engine vehicles is very different, making the maintenance plan and scheduling something to closely examine. With regard to vehicle procurement, note that local governments within Tennessee can create and leverage their own cooperative procurement to drive down price, but are not able to piggyback on external cooperative agreement, such as the ones that Fleets of the Future or Sourcewell have created. Budget for fleet conversion holistically, including all departments that need to be involved and traditionally have not been involved with fleet conversations. Research the deployment costs of the EV models you have identified to fit your fleet needs. Develop estimates for operating costs using tools such as the Department of Energy's Fuel Comparison Tool and Side-by-Side Analysis Tool. Analyze the financial viability and environmental impact of light, medium, and heavy-duty vehicle fleet procurements. Contact your local electrical utility to learn more about special EV rates or incentives that may reduce charging costs. Evaluate options for municipal leasing vehicles with a lease purchase structure in order to access the federal tax credit. Identify funding opportunities through federal, state, or utility programs that can be used to offset higher upfront costs with vehicles and infrastructure. The City of Knoxville has made a commitment to better, greener future. This commitment is reflected in our adoption of a green fleet policy to assist and improve replacement vehicle decision-making. Knoxville already has 8 new electric vehicles in our fleet, with more on the way. Our green fleet policy aligns with the goals of our mayor to improve air quality and reduce our carbon footprint. A clean and resilient future is one of Knoxville's core goals. And reducing emissions from our municipal operations is just one way we are contributing to the continued development of the City of Knoxville. Finally, it's important to establish metrics for monitoring to ensure your total cost of ownership expectations and metrics of success are being realized. You should consider establishing reporting criteria to inform stakeholders about progress on your metrics of success and identify ways to celebrate success. The next section of this chapter focuses on developing an electrification plan for public use, including transit buses, school buses, airport shuttles, and more.